people have lost a lot of money just because they don't read the offer. I'm going to talk about that in the latest Home Prices and Insights for York Region for week ending February the 1st, 2023. You know, the offer can be exciting. There's the purchase price, the closing date, when do we want to move in, all that's exciting. There's other parts of the offer not so exciting, even maybe a little bit boring. There's parts of the offer, Schedule A, that are attached to the offer, and Schedule B that are attached to the offer that are often overlooked but can be the causes of extreme loss for people and lots of pain and uncomfortable situations. So if you don't know, Schedule A is prepared by the buyer's agent and in most cases leans towards protecting the buyer. Schedule B is prepared by the listing brokerage and in most cases leans towards protecting the listing brokerage and the seller. So I'm going to focus on Schedule B. Schedule B will have clauses like the buyer is not going to receive interest on their deposit. Standard clause. But there's one clause in Schedule B that sometimes is there that really absolutely is against the buyer and can hurt the buyer. And it's a clause that says all chattels and fixtures included in this agreement are in as-is condition with no warranties or guarantees. Now think about that. Schedule B is saying on closing day, fridge, stove, washer, dryer, dishwasher, heater, furnace, nothing needs to be in working order is basically what it's saying. But in your offer, you put in the chattels of everything, if you're the buyer, of everything you want included, fridge, stove, dishwasher. And in Schedule A, it says all these fixtures and chattels included in this agreement will be in good working order on closing. That's what the buyer's agent wrote. But in Schedule B, it says they're not going to, and the very last sentence in that clause says this sentence will take this clause will take precedence over any other clause. So whatever you had included, fridge, stove, dishwasher, Schedule B is saying it can be working, it may not be working, and there's nothing you can do about it. If the buyer's agent is not crossing this off, big mistake there. You know why the buyer agent in most cases is not crossing it off? Because they haven't even read Schedule B. They think they're all the same maybe, but they're not. And how do I know most buyer's agents are not well, let me just say half of the buyer's agents are not crossing these off? Is because that clause used to be in our brokerage's Schedule B, and when I'd receive offers, about half were crossed off saying, no way, that goes completely against our buyer's rights. But the other half, they wouldn't be crossed off. So I know those buyer's agents didn't read Schedule B. If your agent is not going to read the clauses and explain them to you, the very least you could do as a buyer or a seller is read the clauses yourself and say, hey, what does this mean? Protect yourself. Who you hire matters. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. Let's get into the numbers. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video, in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. This way, I'll know ahead of time and I'll make sure my schedule's organized so we can talk about whatever's on your mind. Bidding wars. Have you noticed? They're back. They're all over the place. Now, let me explain what I've seen that's happening out there. Buyers, for the many buyers, have kind of 9 months ago stepped off the field and were sitting on the sidelines. And for 9 months, they've been, or almost a year, a lot of them, they've been waiting, and they've seen prices come down and come down and come down, and they've seen interest rates go up, and they're like, whoa, and they got off the playing field. They weren't looking. They were looking from afar, but not active. Well, what they've also seen is the last 6 months or so, from the summer onward, prices really not changed that much. A little bit, not that much, but they have seen rates go up. And now that there's a hint that rates are probably going to stay where they are, just a hint that they're maybe not going to increase anymore, and buyers are tired of waiting and they're not really seeing prices come down further, they've jumped back in the market. So there's a lot more buyers that all of a sudden came on the market just this year, just in the last few weeks. But we haven't seen the listings come on yet. So there's a lot of more buyers, fewer listings, and for certain properties out there, for many, but certain properties out there, there's a lot of eyeballs, a lot of intensity, a lot of showings, which is leading to multiple offers, which is leading to properties being listed on the notion that, hey, lots of buyers are there, let's list it low, have an offer date, and get multiple offers. Right now, it's commonplace to see 5, 10, 15 offers on a property. Now, bidding wars today are very different than bidding wars a year ago. A year ago, the bidding war, almost with certainty, got you much more than the previous sale did in that neighborhood. Today, the bidding war gets you around market value. It gets you around what the previous house sold for. If it's more, it's not hundreds of thousands more, it's a little bit more, but it gets your sale quick, done for the most amount of money you're going to get right now. That's what's happening right now in York Region. Let me show you the breakdown by month. So this is for all of York Region. By month, highlighted in black, is January 2023, and I've got highlighted in black here going all the way back to January 2019. 294 detached properties were sold for January 2019 across York Region. That's a pretty low number. It's not that high. We did 294 January 2019. So January 2023, we did the same sales of January 2019. Average sold price. Average sold price for January 2023 for York Region detached properties only is $1,628. Sorry, $1,628,000. I put a square around the fall numbers, and prices have been pretty steady. I know they go up and down there, but prices have been pretty steady across York Region for the fall. When we compare the current average sold price of a little more than 1.6 million, we are actually 16% lower than where the price was a year ago of 1,935,000. But I know there's a lot of hopeful people looking at, when prices get lower. So let me show you what that looks like. If we drop 6% from where we are today, we will be at January 2021 prices. If we drop 30%, we'll be at January 2020 prices. So 30% more. We need to drop 33% to get to January 2019 prices. So that's from 1.6 to almost 1.1 million. We need 33% drop from where we are now. You tell me below if you believe, knowing what's going on out there right now, if that's a possibility. Here's months of inventory for January 2023. Again, just for detached properties across York Region, 3.1 is the months of inventory for January 2023. And I've got these arrows here from January last year to June, July. Months of inventory was increasing aggressively. Average sold price was coming down aggressively. Then months of inventory over the end of the summer, the fall, and into the winter it looks like it's gradually increasing, And now average sold price during that same period is kind of gradual flat, up a little bit maybe, down a little bit maybe, but it's pretty steady. And that's really the way the relationship works between months of inventory and average sold price. And I just love it when these things work out the way they're supposed to, because there are examples where they behave in a different way. But this is generally the way the relationship between months of inventory and average sold price works. So here's Vaughan. This is our regular program. We've got Vaughan detached properties broken down per week for a whole year. 18 detached properties were sold, so sales went up a little bit over the previous week. 8 of those detached properties were sold at $2 million or more. I put a little marker here because 8 is double from the previous week. We did 4 the previous week at $2 million or more. This week, for week ending February the 1st, 8 properties sold at $2 million or more. Average sold price is way up from the previous week, sitting at $1,931,000. $1,931,000 is 11% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago. Median price of $1,710,000 is 22% lower than where the median price was a year ago. Sales were way off the pace from what we were selling last year at this time, which is what we expect, right? Last year at this time, peak prices, but we also had peak sales. Listings, pretty similar, although for this 1 week, February 1st, we're listing fewer than what we listed a year ago. Pretty much so far for this year, we're kind of on par, maybe a little bit more than what we were listing last year at this time. And months of inventory for week ending February 1st, sitting at 2.3 months of inventory. Here's Richmond Hill. Sales jumped way up from the previous week. We went from 14 to 24 detached properties being sold in Richmond Hill for week ending February the 1st. 5 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price is $1,852,000. 1,852 is 16% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago. The median price of 1,698 is 18% lower than where the median price was a year ago. The dotted line, that's a 4-week moving average. Helps us to spot a trend. And if we look here, average sold price and median price, since we're going back 3 months, looks like it's been sloping upward slightly. Sales of the 24 that sold, half, 54% sold at list price or more. And I put an arrow here because each week that we've been coming into this new year, the percentage selling at list price or more in Richmond Hill of detached properties has been increasing each week. Listings were off the pace from what we were listing a year ago, and months of inventory sitting at 1.2 months of inventory. That has to do with the increase in sales volume for the 1 week that we're in, and really not a lot of extra listings coming on. So we're going to burn through the inventory we do have available if we stay at the current rate that we're buying, 1.2 months. Here's Markham. 23 detached properties were sold. 3 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price is $1,688,000. 1,688 is 16% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago. The median price of 1,668 is 7% lower than where the median price was a year ago. Looking at the dotted line, the 4-week moving average, over the span of 3 months, looks like both average and median price are sloping down slightly. 23 sold, 48%, almost half sold at list price or more. 32 detached properties were listed, and months of inventory has been coming down, sitting at 1.2 months of inventory. And here's where the relationship is maybe between average price and months of inventory is really not behaving the way we would expect. Months of inventory is coming down, yet prices really should be going, but they're not. They're kind of been pretty steady over the last 3 weeks. Here's condos. This is for all of York region. 36 condos were sold. 2 of those were at $1 million or more. Average sold price is $705,000. 705 is 11% lower than last year's average sold price. The median price of $636 is 19% lower than last year's median price. The 4-week moving average kind of has, I think, over the span of 3 months here, looks kind of steady to me. Sales way off the pace from last year. Of the 36 that sold, 17% sold at list price or more. The condo market, very different than the detached market. There's a lot more opportunity to negotiate, a lot less multiple offers in the condo market. 17% sold at list price or more. This time last year, 90%. Listings, pretty similar to what we were listing last year. So fewer sales, a lot more listings. Months of inventory sitting at 2.1 for condos. Here's a quick summary. Months of inventory went down in each of these regions, and for condos, months of inventory is quite low. Helps to explain the increase in intensification, we'll say, of how busy it's starting to get out there. Nobody expected this, but we're reacting to it, and we see it. The sooner we can spot these trends, the better we could advise our clients. It's so important to understand who you hire matters. Have a great day.